Hi, welcome to this reading. So this reading is about more of a love reading, and I've decided to do this in a different way to how I normally do it. So I've got 3 piles with different cards in each pile. So I'm going to ask you to pick a pile, and then if you scroll down into the description, you will see there the timings for your reading. So if you pick pile 1, it'll give you the time for that reading to start. Pile 2, it'll give you the time for that reading to start, and pile 3 for the reading time for you. So have a little look at the front cover picture now, and let me know which you choose. So you could either look at the picture or just decide 1, 2 or 3. So just take a moment to think about what's going on with you at the moment. If you are here because you have a question about your relationship, or you're looking for new love, or you just want to know what's generally going on in your love life at the moment, or perhaps you're unsure about a particular relationship that you're in, then this will give you the guidance that you need. So let's get started. So we're going to start here with pile number 1. So if you were pile number 1, you would have picked this one that looks like the initial M. So the rune that you got is Ehwaz. And Ehwaz is actually the rune that represents relationships. It's connected to the goddess Freya. And that energy of, so with Freya, it's very much sexual energy, the grieving that she had over her husband, and the many lovers that she had. So it's definitely like the lover's rune. And Ehwaz always works with that relationship to yourself as well. So this might be a time where you've perhaps in between relationships, and you're working with yourself now, trying to work and stand in your own power. So let's have a little look at the cards that you've picked. So we're going to have a look first of all. This is the minor arcana. So the first card that you've got is the 2 of Swords. Now with the 2 of Swords, this is always about making a choice and not really seeing the bigger picture, not really seeing the way forward on this. So with Ehwaz, it might be that maybe there's decisions to be made within a relationship that you're in right now, and you're not sure which way you're leaning. And when I look at this card, I notice that so that would be on her. Hang on a minute. That's her right arm that's kind of leaning out towards the side there. So this might represent where perhaps a masculine is moving away from the feminine. Maybe there's uncertainty as to why that is, perhaps on here. And there's a feeling of like not really communicating, not really allowing your feelings to show, not really bringing that about there. You're looking for newness. So this feels to me like the energy of where perhaps the relationship is not as interesting as it perhaps was, where you're feeling a little bit like not really going in the direction that you want. So okay, when we pick the major arcana, so we'll put these 2 together, we have the Emperor, which is a very powerful masculine card. So it does feel like it's quite overpowering. Maybe the person that you're with, you're not able to communicate with. Maybe on the masculine side of things, it's making you feel a little bit overpowered, perhaps a little bit of a power struggle. Maybe you're feeling a bit gaslighted, or just not really understanding the other person's point of view or the way that they are. And you feel like they're sort of just sat there doing whatever they normally do, and you're over here like completely confused and not really knowing what direction you're going in on there. But with the Emperor, it can bring about that balance. So it might be, especially working with Ehwaz, about feeling that energy of balance and bringing this back in. So as you can see, the sword on this side, it's kind of leaning over to the side a little bit. So bringing it back into a bit more of a balance, so it's not too far into the masculine. So that might be stepping into your feminine side a little bit more, allowing more of a flow of emotion. Let yourself be seen, let yourself express how you feel and what you want from this relationship, from this connection. Okay, so place those down there for a moment. Okay, yeah, we have the card Faith. So this is the Chakra Oracle cards, and with Faith, it's very much trusting, and I think Ehwaz definitely brings an element of trust in there. So if you're having doubts right now, you're unsure potentially about the masculine, the energy of the person that you're with, this connection, I think it's asking you to have faith and to trust. And it's, if you picked Ehwaz, it does speak of relationships. So this is a very deep connection, possibly, you know, a soulmate or twin flame connection. And maybe the insecurity here, the uncertainty, comes from previous relationships. Maybe you're bringing things in from previous relationship that needs work on, that needs to be looked at and healed potentially, which again, that just comes back to communication. So communicate with the masculine, and Ehwaz is there to help you to work with yourself, that relationship with yourself, so that when you step into the relationship, you're bringing the best of yourself. You're bringing the ability to be open, to allow that caring feminine side to show. Otherwise, what you get is the sort of this masculine archetype that makes it feel like very defensive, like you can't get through. But that might be because they don't feel like you're really expressing yourself towards them. So they may be feeling perhaps a bit wounded, maybe a little bit neglected on there. And you can help each other through this. You can work together. Ehwaz is also like two horses' heads coming together. And what I like to talk about with Ehwaz is about the horse and the rider. So it's bridging the trust between the heart and the mind. So it's like the heart knows what it wants, and the mind sometimes can really spin you out on that, and make things feel a little bit unsure, uncertain, and we can gaslight ourselves and confuse ourselves as to what's actually really going on. So I'm going to leave those ones there, and then we have Whispers of Love card that I'm going to show you, which is the last card on here. It says, receive with love and appreciation. Gracious acceptance is a way to show love. So I feel like there had been some issues potentially in this relationship where, again, that lack of communication, not being able to really receive love yourself, and therefore don't feel like you're receiving it from your partner, from your person. So how much do you appreciate and love yourself? How much do you give to yourself? That acceptance, that gratitude for what you have as well, just allows you to see, like she's holding like a snowflake on here. So it's almost like a, you know, that coldness. Maybe it just needs warmth off you to soften it, to melt it away. Yeah, it's not that they are angry with you or upset with you. It's just that they feel perhaps rejected by you, and you are the only one that holds the power to softening that below on there. So I'm going to just read what it says on the book on this one for you, so 34, because that'll give you something to take away. So, being courteous when someone gives you something is simple consideration. The angels encourage you to graciously receive an act of kindness. But this is also what you can do for somebody else as well. Allow someone to express love by accepting what they want to do for or give to you. Being appreciative expresses your feelings through action. Extend your gratitude by saying a heartfelt thank you to those who take the time to help you. Showing appreciation is good manners. It demonstrates your respect for someone's time, knowledge, energy, or assistance, and that you truly realise what has been given to you. Open gratitude connects you to the giver in a deeper way. A sincere appreciation of people and their role in your life creates a mutual connection. So I do genuinely feel that this is a relationship that's already going, that's perhaps lost that connection, and it's you working with communicating your needs and allowing your love to be shown to this person that's going to open back up that communication and allow that love to flow again, because it's still there. It is still there. And the faith card is showing that, you know, just have faith that what you are looking for in this relationship, it is available to you, but it starts with communication and being open with what your needs are, what you want, and showing that love. So it's almost like what you would like from this person, give to them. And sometimes we have to step out of our ego selves enough to be able to see, like, yeah, I can be the first person to make that move. I don't have to keep waiting for the other person to do it. I think so many, especially in some relationships with men and women, where a woman can wait for the man to make the first move, but actually knowing that it's okay for a woman to make the first move. And sometimes that's what a man wants. That's what people want to feel from you. So that's actually a beautiful message if you are already in a relationship. So this is pile number 1. If you picked pile number 1, then this is a good sign that there is work to do in the relationship that you're in, but it can be repaired by giving that love that you want to receive. So receive with love and appreciation. You can do this. You can offer that love, that appreciation to your person, and it will be received and given in return. So I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you do enjoy what we just did there, this is a new way that I've started doing readings. So do let me know, and I can do many more like this and perhaps do longer sessions as well. So that was pile number 1. So pile number 2 now, and if you were pile number 2, you would have picked the rune Fehu. So this rune is abundance, it's luck, it's the gratitude and wealth. So it's sort of like having a real good time at the moment, is what Fehu can represent. Now, sometimes the trick with Fehu, or the downside of Fehu, is, say, a wealthy person. If somebody has a lot of wealth, are they constantly looking over their shoulder thinking, oh, somebody's going to try and take that from me? And sometimes that can actually undo the appreciation and the just being generally joyful and happy with what you have. So we'll come back to Fehu again in a moment as well. So let's see your cards. Okay, so we've got, first of all, the minor arcana. You have the 6 of Swords. So this could be a situation where perhaps maybe your look has changed. Perhaps you have gone on quite a journey and you're coming back to something now. So where you kind of stepped away, maybe you are starting to come back. Maybe you feel your fortune resides in something, a journey that you've taken resides in coming back to calmer waters. So for instance, you may have had calmer waters but not really realised that that's what it was. Maybe that felt different to you, uncomfortable to you, because you're not used to that. So then you've gone away. But maybe now you are feeling a time of coming back because you've realised actually what was out there is choppier, not as calm as what you had. But you had to have that experience in order to be where you are right now. So let's see what your major arcana is telling us on there. Okay, we have the Karma card. So that kind of does go with what I've just said there. This possibly could be where you've gone on this journey, you've had a good experience originally with the calmer waters, but perhaps it didn't feel like it was enough for you. It just didn't have the spice in it that you have experienced before in relationships, and perhaps part of you was sort of thinking, maybe this isn't for me, maybe there's something else out there for me. So you've gone out, looked for that, potentially found it, But that isn't, but you're coming back to what you had before, those calmer waters. And maybe that's your journey there with the karma card. So karma isn't always about sort of like negative experiences, or you get what you give in a, like if you do bad, you get bad. Nothing's good or bad here. It's about experience and learning from your experiences and the lessons that they give you. So you've been on quite a journey here, experiencing what you bring, I'd say, to your relationships. This is about what you have brought to your relationships. And maybe you've been recently in a relationship that it did make you feel good, but because you're waiting for the shoe to drop, maybe you're feeling like, is this enough for me? Is this it, sort of thing? The journey that you've been on is kind of like necessary, but it's made you come full circle. It's made you realize actually those calmer waters were better than where I'm at right now, with this experience. So Feihu is kind of like that realization of wealth, realization of what you're fortunate for, of where that fortune is. So you may find that this experience, it was necessary, but it's bringing you back to those calmer waters and what actually resonates with who you are now, not who you were. So let's see what your chakra card is. Okay, we have the rejection card, and with rejection, you feel, this feels to me like you've stepped away. You've stepped away from something here because you thought there was something better. You thought that there was something much, perhaps shinier, better, much more aligned with where you are right now. But the experience you've had has made you recognise actually what I had before was better, actually resonated with me better than this. But your fear now is of rejection, of being rejected. So if you look at the card, so I'll put that one down for a minute. There's a lot of shaking of heads, perhaps a lot of questioning, a lot of doubt, confusion, and not really sure which way to go. So I would say that this is telling you that you need to go back, and it's not going back in the way that you're going back in time and you're undoing all the work that you've done on yourself. It's more going back in a way of, I've realised some things, I've recognised some things, I want to start a fresh start, but in a more positive way, a way that resonates with feeling that wealth, understanding what is right for you, what feels good for you, what feels peaceful and calming. And like with Feihu, it gives me that feeling of where, imagine like you've got this beautiful field, you've got all this land, you've got all your cows on there, that's your wealth, that's sort of like your currency. It's all there, it's all good, and you've just got this feeling of like contentment. But if you're not used to feeling content, if you're actually used to constantly trying to please other people, or feeling that like sort of adrenaline feeling, constantly feeling like you're in your adrenals, this might be actually what you were in previously didn't make you feel like that. What you're in now kind of does. So you've recognised what needed to change, but you had to make those changes to understand that, to recognise that. Now the fear here is about rejection. It's about if you do go back, they're going to be like, no, don't want you, you're done. That's the feeling that I'm getting from this. But if you can see in his hand, he's got some paintbrushes. So maybe it's time to go where you need to go. You know, you any relationship, anything you're in, you're the one that can decide to make the changes for yourself. Now, people can either grow with you or grow away from you. And if you've grown and you reconnect with somebody that you felt was actually calmer waters and safe, or just the right thing for you, but you needed to explore, you needed to see what else was out there potentially, this is your opportunity now to paint that picture of what it is that you want, manifest that. It might be that you will be rejected to start with, but you're never rejected by yourself unless you choose to reject yourself. So this might be a little bit of time now working on yourself, working on that, finding that wealth within you, because once you feel that within yourself, you've had those wealthy experiences, those abundant experiences within yourself, and you can feel 100% like, yes, I'm worth this, then everything will align in the way that you want it to be, and it will reconnect. But you need that time right now to work on who are you and what do you feel in yourself, what do you bring, and how do you want that to be. So let's see what your Whispers of Love card is on here. Be supportive, make a genuine effort to show you care. So maybe with this feeling of rejection, where you feel like you're going to have to step away, there is no reconciliation here, maybe try a different approach. So instead of going back and asking for a new relationship or anything like that, maybe it's just about finding ways to be supportive of your person, finding a way that you can show them that you care, that you want to be a part of their lives without being pushy, without feeling like you're sort of, they're like traveling in going, hey, I'm back, will you take me? This is more, show that support, show that love to the person. And actually that's going to bring you good fortune as well, because it's going to allow you to step out of the ego self and stand in a space of soul level that's going to make you feel like you haven't felt before. Money doesn't touch that, travel or anything else doesn't touch that. What touches that is touching somebody else's heart and coming from a place from your heart, where it actually feels genuinely good to give. And you'll find there with Feihu, it's that balance between that giving and receiving, that abundant way of being. So not doing something to get something in return, but doing something because you want to show your love, because you care. So if you do care, be supportive and show that you care. So let's see, that's 45 on there. I'll read you your passage on here. So I like these. These are really nice words. So at this point then, some extra support and care is all that is needed. Encourage someone and recognise the effort they are making. Being supportive will help create harmony and peace. Just as the angels support us in all things, be willing to support the ones you love. Find something that interests your partner, whether they're passionate about a charitable cause, a sport or a hobby. Take an interest in their endeavours. Make a point of showing up and helping out. It's easy to avoid taking part because you don't share an interest or pastime. Learn about why someone is so passionate about what they're doing. This type of support can really mean the world to someone and foster better communication and appreciation. With time, this might be something for you to enjoy. An angel with a rainbow-hued wings carried a maiden protectively through the night sky. Rainbows and rainbows colours signifies new opportunities ahead for you. It means you will find ways to be more encouraging to the important individuals in your life. It's always reassuring to know there is someone who supports you. So if this is you, you've had your experience and you've realised, you've learnt that lesson from it, you've realised actually what was for you, you're on your way back. And the way to do that is not declaring your love, but to show your support, to give. And that is going to give you the abundance. It's going to give you the outcome that you are looking for. And it's going to help you to move through this feeling of rejection, because you're actually doing something productive, like painting that picture, doing something productive rather than apologizing or saying things will be different this time. You're actually showing what you're proving with your actions what you can do. So then your actions are aligning with your words, and that's the way to win this person's heart. So if that is for pile 2, so good luck with that. Please let me know how you get on. I would love to know. And that brings us to pile number 3. So let's just see if this was you. So you would have been Isa, the line down the middle on this card. So with Isa, I'm getting the feeling with your connection, it's possibly paused. This has been put on pause. Maybe there's no communication at the moment. Maybe things are just held in a place of uncertainty. Not really sure. It's a bit like the fight, flight or freeze. This is the freeze. Yeah, perhaps there's fear there. There's fear. This may be around some event that's happened within a relationship or a connection, and you're unsure. So things have been put on freeze, or maybe it's your person that's unsure and they're not communicating with you at the moment. So let's see your cards. Okay, we have the King of Wands, a very masculine card on here. Someone it's about success. But sometimes this card actually comes out in readings when there's perhaps been somebody that's been a bit of a player. Maybe this is your person, or maybe it is you yourself. But it could be you want to put a stop to old ways, potentially. So if this represents a person that you are longing for, or that you don't have contact with now but you would like to, maybe they have been a player, maybe they have had experiences within your relationship, maybe that's why you're not communicating anymore, or maybe it's somebody or yourself where you've perhaps played around a little bit and you're the one that's blocking the connection on here with this person. So with the King of Wands, it's definitely got quite a confident energy to it on the masculine side, a very powerful energy, but does tend to be around sexual energy, and perhaps putting that sexual energy out there quite a bit. So I'm going to see what your major arcana works with on that one. Okay, the Lovers. So your person, you do love them. You love them. And I feel like if you're asking a question about this person, they love you too. But they have this about them. And perhaps they are working towards coming closer to you to make this connection. Like they've had choices. They've had a lot of choices, and they haven't been making particularly great choices. So that's why this has been put on freeze. That's why this has been put on hold for the moment, because they're starting to understand these choices haven't been great. And I'd say it's been sort of around like from June, they've started to recognise things about themselves, and then maybe they've met you and realised actually what it is that they want, where they want to be. And Isa kind of throws things into a like, right, we need to just stop everything right now and have a think about this and see where we're going with this. But it's a very, very sexual connection on this that I can see. So if this is you and your person, I would say that it's a very physical feeling coming from this, very much. And fire signs as well, I would say, go with that. Service. Now, the word I'm not resonating with at the moment, but it's the border that's orange on here, that's connected to the sacral chakra, sacral center, which that can relate again to sexuality, and it's almost like somebody here feels perhaps used in that way, perhaps like that's all that they were, or that's all that the relationship was, and they wanted more, or you wanted more from it than just that. But there's this feeling of sort of like, oh, that's all they want. That's all they want. That's all they see me as. That's all they want from me. I want more than that. I want to be more important than just that, because you might be thinking, well, if this is a long-term thing, you know, with the lovers, if you're looking for potentially a long-term commitment, you want it to be more than just the physical stuff, because at some point that might start to dry up. You want to know that you can laugh with this person and communicate with them on a deeper level, maybe have, you know, deep conversations about anything and everything. So if it's always been quite physical and the communication hasn't really been there other than that, then it might be making you, yourself, or this person feel like, well, I want to be more than that. So that's why the communication is lacking on there. So just have a think about that, and what you want to bring to the relationship, how you want that to be. But there's definitely still a connection looking at this. It's sort of like there's no communication. It's on hold at the moment, but this person looking at it is very much in love with you, does want to be with you, but they've got to work through this way of being, this pattern that they have, that they're perhaps struggling to break. And maybe in the time that you've spent together, you've illuminated for them this pattern that they have, and they've started to recognize, actually, you are important to me. I want to work towards breaking that. But they need the time and the space to do that. Being around you is too physical, and they can't work on that if you're there. Okay, let's have a look what your card is on there. Aha! You have like attracts like. If you long for more love, be more loving. Now, I would say with like attracts like, you are like mirroring each other. You both have that energy about you, quite intense, loving energy, lovers. You both, I think, have similar experiences in past relationships that have been quite immature, that have been too much around the sexual energy and not deep enough into a more adult kind of relationship. Perhaps they've been that immature kind of energy. So understanding each other on that level, you can actually help each other to heal through this. But right now, maybe it is that time for just being still, putting it on freeze. But that doesn't mean, so like, if you long for more love, be more loving. So when you're thinking about this person, or when you do communicate with them or see them or anything at all, be loving. Be thoughtful in the words that you say and the things that you say, to allow them to understand, actually, yes, I'm annoyed about this, or I don't like this. I want this, but I'm curious and conscious of this. And I don't want you to feel like you're just this, just being a service. It's allowing that person to understand actually how you truly feel. It's a little bit like pile one, actually. So yeah, if you want to bring that, then bring it to yourself. But another thing with this is about working with your inner child. So when you work with inner child energy, you might need to drop back into past experiences from like your younger years, relationships that you've been in previously. So it's a good idea to take that time now to observe yourself. If you do communicate with this person, remember to first of all just pause, listen, and observe yourself and how you feel. Always stay on your side of the fence. don't jump over onto their side of the fence and start assuming or accusing, and then bring in a response, not a reaction. And that will help to just start to thaw that freeze that you've got with Isa. It's going to allow things to be just that little bit more flowing rather than stuck and on a standstill. Maybe that's going to allow then for the waters to start to gently thaw and move through. So I'm going to read the passage for that from this beautiful Whispers of Love. So like attracts like. Oh, it's number 2 as well. So that's like two union. So the law of attraction states that you need to be in the vibration of what you want to create. Love will come to you more readily if you surround yourself with love and easily find things to love about your life. Take a moment to think of the many things you love. Use your imagination and visualize a world in which you can manifest your heart's desire. Try not to seek out whatever it is that you wish for. This is the challenging aspect of the law of attraction. Act as if what you yearn for is already here. Giving attention to or waiting for what you are longing for sends a message to the universe that you don't possess your desire and you will magnetize not having it. A fairy holds an image of herself that holds an even smaller image of herself. The smallest image could be associated with your inner child and what you have longed for in your life. You attract to your life things that mirror your thoughts. This would explain why the fairy is holding an image of herself. Fairies symbolise the magic that life has to offer. This is a card of hope and a reminder that magic is readily at hand when you shift into a place of positive patience. So remember I was saying that before about mirroring, so like attracts like. So you are kind of mirroring each other. Like you both want this, but you both feel like you bring this. So if you're watching this, then obviously you can bring this to your person, as to sort of recognizing like, well, actually, let's maybe bring the contact back, but perhaps we'll slow down with the physical side of things, maybe go out instead of staying in, try and bring it to a place where you can actually have a deeper conversation, get to know each other on more of a level than just the physical side of things. And that's going to allow then for Isa to thaw and to bring maybe a new way of being into this connection, into this relationship. But clearly, you know, with the Lovers card, it's still there. You might not be in contact right now, but the connection is still there. And it may take a little bit of time to come round. I don't have a time frame on that for you, but be patient. Just be patient. Keep working with your sacral center. Keep working with your inner child and your needs. And then when you do have those conversations, you know what you can discuss on there then. So that's you, pile 3. So I hope you enjoyed this new way of doing readings that I've done on here. So this was more of love readings. I will come back and do more of these as well, but I'd love your feedback as to whether you found them useful, and if you have any ideas of any other decks and things that you might want me to use, I will look into that as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Blessed be.